Hi, my name is Amy Cothran. I just came back from the school board, the special school board meeting that we had tonight on August 24th. Steve Callahan and Deb Parks were absent from the meeting. Your school board candidates, Nate Larson and Courtney Tabor, were both present. The amendment, there was amendment to the 2021 school budget. And it seems it was really technical in the explanation, but it seems as though we have a cooperative fund. And this cooperative fund has to do with teachers that we share with other districts. Like we have an occupational therapist that we share with Fort Calhoun. They had to increase that occupational fund money, the amount that's supposed to be in it, to meet the amount that was in it, because we brought in more money than what they expected that we would bring in, which is a good thing. So we have more money in that account than what they were expecting. So they did raise that occupational fund from $40,000, I think, to $60,000 is what I believe they said. So there was this kind of last year stuff that they said that's kind of normal. Activity fund transfer. There's a $30,000 activity funds transfer. Let me make sure I got that amount right. Yeah, $30,000 from the general funds to the activity funds. And the reason why that happens is they said it happens every year, but it's because this year the deficit was because we had less home games. We only had 4 home games. And so, home games are a big revenue producer. And also funds that are needed for when we go to state, buses and hotel rooms and things like that cost more than what we can budget for. We don't know whether we're going to go to state before we do. Okay, now the scoreboard. It seems as though middle school scoreboard quit working 2 years ago. So they let it go for about a year, and they knew that they couldn't let it go much longer. So the middle school actually was without a scoreboard for a year. In the past, Pepsi and Coca-Cola usually, or somebody usually covers the cost of a scoreboard, but that didn't happen with our scoreboard that is currently in the varsity gym. So what happened is it seems as though there's an auxiliary gym and then there's a varsity gym. And so last year they took the scoreboard that was in the auxiliary gym and put it in the middle school gym so they'd have a working scoreboard. They took the scoreboard that was in the varsity gym and put it in the auxiliary gym. And then they purchased a scoreboard. The scoreboard was $147,804 plus an $8,000 per year software cost. The scoreboard has an advertisement ability, which the Blair radio sells the advertisements for us, since the school board really is not as the school board is really not an advertisement agency. So they sell the ads that go on there. And remember, it costs $147,804 for the scoreboard, $8,000 in software. But in ads, we got $166,000 in ads last year, revenue from the scoreboard. Blair Radio gets 58,000 of that. And I think I got these numbers right or close. But that left the school board getting 108,000, which left the difference for the school board, for the scoreboard. So $108,000, that take it down to about 40 plus $40,000 for the scoreboard that's still not paid for, plus the software cost. So that was the reasoning in doing the transfer to pay this scoreboard off. Next year, any advertisement that they sell on that scoreboard, Blair Radio gets $58,000 off the top. But then we get the rest that go into our activities fund. So maybe next year we can transfer from the activities fund to the general fund, or we can pay for those state games and not have to transfer from the general fund into the activities funds to pay for the state games. Since we can't have a deficit, it has to be paid for before the next fiscal year. There was some talk about a QF Puff fund, which I'm not real sure about. They said something about the Puff fund being paid for by bonds, and they wanted to raise the Puff fund to $1.6 million. And they said that's for doing things that make the buildings ADA compliant, for safety, for handicap access, for growth, for older building needs, things like that. That way they're not always having to dip into that building fund to do everything that's needed to the schools. There's going to be an open budget. There's going to be a budget. The school budget is going to be in the paper. Which one, I'm not sure, but the school budget is going to come out in the paper for you to look at. And then they're going to have that meeting at our next school board meeting on September 12th. So if there's something on that budget that you want to talk to them about, please make sure that you're at the school board meeting on the 12th. And then if you watch my city councils, the 13th, that's when the city council's having their budget meeting. So lots of budget meetings coming down the pike. And that was the school board meeting. Thank you, guys.